Andariki namaskaramulu. Today is another good day for all of us, that we have very knowledgeable, very renowned, and our old Guruji, Malladi Srinivasa Sastry Garu. He has taken a few lectures to us during the weekends during 2022. Now again he is back with us to take a few more lectures or webinars. So we will welcome him, and also I will introduce you. It is my pleasure and also a privilege to briefly introduce Dr. Malladi Srinivasa Sastry Garu. He is a practicing psychiatrist with good work experience in UK, Singapore, and India. Dr. Malladi is a Karyakarta of Samskruta Bharati, which is an organization that teaches Sanskrit. He conducts spoken Sanskrit workshops and also teaches the 4-level exam-oriented courses of Samskruta Bharati. Dr. Malladi is the founder of Soham Vidya, which is a platform to impart spiritual knowledge for holistic wellness and social welfare NGO based on principles of Sanatana Dharma called Hindumitra Seva Foundation. He is the founder of that organization. He has been practicing on applications of ancient spiritual knowledge in daily life and designed courses such as Discover Yourself, Discover Your Inner Potential, etc. He had conducted several webinars on Bring Out the Best in You, the Sanatana Dharma way, and the range of topics like that. He has MA in Sanskritam from Andhra University, Visakhapatnam, and had completed the certificate and gold medal level of the year-long courses on memorization and pronunciation of Bhagavad Gita slokas conducted by Sri Datta Pitham of Mysore. So again, I am really happy and also it's my privilege to introduce him to all of you. So let us now request Dr. Malladi Srinivasa Sastry Garu to start the webinar, please.
Sarvebhyaha Namaha. Thank you so much for the kind introduction, and special thanks to Sri Akalla Prabhakar Garu for contacting me recently, and it's my real honor to come back to communicate with the Veda Samskruta Samiti. And without much delay, I want to begin the presentation. As I said, the topic is why is Hindu response feeble when Sanatana Dharma is under attack? And typically what I do is I try to define my question. So here we have a word Hindu and we have the word Sanatana Dharma as well. And we need to really understand what those two are. I'll define Sanatana Dharma this way. It is that universal spiritual knowledge that I am the Atman, who is the Kevala, oneness, and the Satya, the absolute truth, which is Nitya, unchanging, Sarva Vyapaka, all-pervasive, Shashvata, everlasting, Chetana, intelligence, and that is Ajaha, never born, and is there in everything, Sthavara and Jangama, mobile and immobile. It is this knowledge that I am the Atman and that I am born in this life, as Srinivasa, as a particular predestined person based on my chip. So my chip is very different. That chip like I have is based on my sattva, raja, tamo, guna combinations. and my karma that I have accumulated in my previous births. So my unique chip decides how I am born. And you know what? I and you, we all have made a declaration before taking this birth. So the declaration goes like this: I, the Atman, with a clear goal to attain moksha. We make the declarations like take oath in parliament and such, right? Similarly, we make a declaration before we are born in this life. So I am the Atman with a clear goal to attain moksha. Hereby declare that I shall navigate the samsara, the complexities of this life, using Trikarana Shuddhi, sincere application, and Nishchaya Buddhi, precision in decision making, in application of Dharma, while utilizing my Sharira, Manas, and Jnana Karmendriyas, body, mind, and senses, as tools to navigate this journey and yet stay on the path to attain moksha. This is the declaration I have made. It may seem funny when I say this, but if we are practitioners of Sanatana Dharma, it is well understood that I have always been there as the Atman. I remember all that until the moment I take birth. And after that, I forget. I forget that I have made this declaration. Some of us realize it and try and stay on the path, whereas majority forget this and get distracted within the current life. All right. So we don't remember. Most of us don't remember it. And there's something interesting as well. Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata. Avyakta nidhananyeva tatraka paridevana. As Bhagavad Gita says. There is adini, there is madhyani, there is nidhanani. Avyakta. I was avyakta before I was born. I was non-manifest, unmanifest. And I manifested while I took birth in this life. So from the point I was born until I am dead, I am manifest in this Sharira as Srinivasa. That is Avyakta Madhyani. And then I am Avyakta Nidhanani. After death, again I am Avyakta, which means that I have been there before, I am there now, and I will be there after too. And that is the Atman, and that is Sanatana Dharma for you. Sanatana Dharma has always been there. I was never born into Sanatana Dharma. I was never born into it. Because I was always there in it. As we saw earlier, it is Ajaha. If Atma is Sanatana Dharma, what is Sanatana at the end of the day? It is everlasting. What is everlasting? Atma is everlasting. If Atma is everlasting, it is Sanatana Dharma. So whatever the Dharma of the Atma is Sanatana Dharma. And if that is the case, I've always been there. I was there in Sanatana Dharma before birth, and I'll always be there in it even after death. But in between in this life, only after I am born, I am a Hindu, or I convert to a religion, or become an atheist. Based on my circumstances and the way my mind operates, it may start doing wonders, analyzing this and that, and falling prey to some beliefs and dogmas, for instance, and changing paths, not sticking to the actual path or the goal of moksha towards of Sanatana Dharma. But the thing is that whatever I have assumed after being born, it perishes the day I leave this body. Okay? It's not going to be there. It will just perish on the last breath of this life. but I'll always be there in Sanatana Dharma. Okay. So I and you made this declaration as the nameless Atman before this birth. It is my responsibility and your responsibility to find it again by going beyond jati, religion, politics, geography, color, and culture. Because as Adi Shankara has pointed, I can't remember the shloka right away, and he does talk about all that. Exactly, I should have basically quoted it here itself. It would have been nice, but I'm unable to remember it now. So what is Hinduism then? Hinduism, it is a conglomeration of various streams that emanate from the common foundational understanding of Sanatana Dharma. So the foundational understanding of Sanatana Dharma is that I am the Atman. I'm here under the kind of principles of karma and punarjanma, and I need to return back to that kevala moksha, get moksha. And the path to that is through following principles of dharma and yoga. Those are the foundational principles on the basis of which various streams of sampradayas have come about. And naturally, the number of streams of sampradayas can theoretically be multiples. It doesn't have to be restricted to a few. So the more they are, the more the heterogeneity, the more there will be different paths. And they'll all be having some differences of cultural differences, societal differences, linguistic, geographical, depending on which part of the country, which part of the continent, which part of the world you are. So that is how different it's going to be. So the question then is, are you practicing Sanatana Dharma or are you practicing Hinduism? You will be a better Hindu only when you practice Sanatana Dharma. Unless there is a foundational understanding of Sanatana Dharma, it is really kind of difficult to make your oneself a proper practitioner of Hinduism. Now, I want to hear from the audience before I proceed, because I have put across my views, and it is important I hear from everyone else before I proceed. I'll pause here for a moment. Anybody?
I am practicing Sanatana Dharma as well as Hinduism, sir.
Okay, can you explain to me? It'll be nice to just know.
I am doing my regular course like Sandhya Vandanam, Puja, Rudrabhishekam, and chanting of slokas, Purana, this one, and practicing and being harmonic to everybody, in the sense mixing with people with samabhava, and wherever it is possible, telling them about the greatness of Sanatana Dharma and Hindu Dharma also. And whenever somebody says why we should do all these things, means that is the essence of this life. That's what I am telling them. And people, they are very kind enough to follow the same also. When I say something, they are listening to me politely, patiently. That is also there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, sir.
You have highlighted some very important things there, of not only your swadhyaya, you're doing your own sadhana. That is where the Hinduism part comes into play. And you also said that you maintain samabhavana, you actually mingle with the society and working with the society. So you showed there what I can call as samadrishti and the love among all the kind of atmans, all the jivas. So that is the essence of Sanatana Dharma there. Then you also mentioned about practicing the the preaching. You're actually teaching people. You're talking about the values of Sanatana Dharma, and I can see the responsibility that you are playing there, and possibly I would definitely see a hint of Kshatra Guna there. There is Dharma Prachara and Dharma Rakshana. And I'm very pleased to hear all that you have said. Thank you so much. Okay. I want to hear from others as well. If you agree with what I have said or disagree with what I have said so far, that is also important. I want to know.
Good evening, sir. I'm Venkatramana. See, what you said is 100% right. As far as the question you have put before me, whether we are Hindus or following the Sanatana Dharma, yes, no doubt we are following. I am following Hinduism as well as to some extent Sanatana Dharma, like doing the Sandhyavandanam twice or thrice a day and performing puja. But still, I feel I am not doing Sanatana Dharma in correct way. Somehow I am not satisfied. I am 62 years old. Okay. But where my heart is clicking, so our Sanatana Dharma says, Advaita Sarvabhutana. It's not being followed, though I want to follow. Suppose we are very happily, we enjoyingly, we kill our mosquitoes. We do so many other things from day begin to day end. But somehow I'm not satisfied. Are we really, am I really doing this Sarveshwaram Sarvabhutanam? It's really happy. Though I stopped doing always, or I stopped understanding even every creature. I stopped, but still I'm not satisfied. Something is lacking behind me. I have to do something. I should reach perfection like that. My mind is going down for the past 6 months. This is what I want to share with you. Thank you.
Okay, again, thank you for sharing what you have said. The only thing I want to say is, if I understood right, because there was some disturbance in your the audio quality, I think you're concerned and you're kind of disturbed with not being able to practice daya towards all the sarvabhuta. But that is where you have to find the benefit of applying Sanatana Dharma, the complexities, the multiple layers or the multiple dimensions of our existence. It is not monodimensional. It's not simply about, I have a mosquito on my hand, I am not going to kill it because I have to practice ahimsa. It is actually dangerous because it's going to give me malaria, dengue fever, and it could be anything. I'm going to kill it. So what is the principle which allows me to kill it, whereas there is another principle of ahimsa there? Now these multidimensional kind of dharmic conflicts need to be resolved by understanding Sanatana Dharma, so that we actually apply it in our day-to-day lives. So that's another topic that we can talk about, but thank you for sharing what you have said. Okay, again, I want to go back to my question. I have presented my viewpoint, and I want to know if there is anybody who disagrees. If so, I want to know the reasons. Okay, well, if nobody is going to kind of protest, I'll go ahead. Okay. So, all right. So basically what I did so far was I made a case for Sanatana Dharma. I actually kind of, as I said to you, the title has word Hindu and has Sanatana Dharma. I tried to make us understand what Sanatana Dharma stands for. I also made it clear how Hinduism needs to be understood in the context. Okay. So having done that, now I'm going to go into the next phase of our discussion. So nowadays, since we had the attacks, the political kind of ruckus on, Sanatana Dharma being attacked. So what is being attacked? What is being attacked is Sanatana Dharma. And it is not Hinduism. It's very clear. They are actually attacking the very root. It is a politically designed attack. Now, if those who understand Rajiv Malhotra's pain and anguish, and he had actually written books called Battle for Sanskrit and Indra's Net, and what the third one, I can't remember the name now. He had made it very clear it should be, we need to understand what the opponents actually throw at us. That is Purva Paksha. And then we need to actually kind of build our argument as well. I will tell you this much. Hindus are very new to this game because we have been very docile, very obliging, accommodative. You can use all those words. Essentially, it equates to, if I ask to kind of give equals to, I will say it is apathy. Apathy, ignorance, and laziness. Okay? This is what it is. Those are all excuses. Those are all nice excuses. The actual word that should be equated to is these things: apathy, laziness, and ignorance. And the way, again, it's nicely covered is it is given a sattvic touch. Hindus like to give this sattvic touch to themselves. Oh, I am a ahimsavadi. So it makes you look cool, right? Everybody thinks, oh, this guy is saintly. But under that, there is the shallowness of an understanding of what, as I earlier said, the complexities of this world, multi-dimensional way that dharma plays a part. We have a shallowness, and that shallowness is nicely covered with this sattvic touch. And that comes out as as if I am very saintly and all that. So just something for us to examine. This is a societal problem. It is a huge societal problem. So the point then is that when Sanatana Dharma is being attacked and not Hinduism, and they're actually attacking the roots, there are breaking India forces is the word Rajiv Malhotra has used, and it could be the evangelicals, it could be basically the religious conversionists, it could be the communists, it could be politicians, it could be anybody and everybody who is interested in breaking you into pieces so that they gain out of it. And if you are not up to the game for it, then you are not doing justice to dharma. If you're not protecting dharma, you're only allowing adharma to proliferate. Okay. So, what is the criticism? We need to look at it. The criticism, number one, was that Sanatana Dharma is so-called unchanging, but society changes with time. It has to evolve. So how can we accept something like Sanatana Dharma, which is stagnant? It is unchanging. It is stagnant. Whereas society has to change with time. In essence, what they said was, Sanatana Dharma wants to keep the downtrodden caste oppressed. So that is what unchanging means, according to Sanatana Dharma, is what they're basically saying. But society has to change with time, which means that upper caste oppression has to stop, lower caste have to be liberated. But Sanatana Dharma is not allowing it, therefore we should eliminate it. You understand the context? Therefore, now they want to be saviors of social inequality. That then they say that caste is actually an inherent part of Sanatana Dharma. And that therefore Sanatana Dharma promotes divisions in human society. Then there is further argument that actually you have 4 varnas, Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra, Kshatriya. Where is inclusion of Dalits? Dalits is they're not included in any of these 4 varnas. Therefore, your Sanatana Dharma is excluding Dalits. And then they also attack, saying that you have too many gods, you worship stones, and you are superstitious. And therefore, malaria, dengue, and so on, and just like how they are a menace, Sanatana Dharma needs to be eradicated. Are there any other criticisms that have been leveled against us that I have missed stating here? First of all, is anybody talking about these things? Are we only talking about Adhyatmic Pravachans, or are we actually also kind of discussing these matters? It applies to everyone across India and everyone who is supposedly a practitioner of Hinduism. What are the other criticisms?
Dogmatism in the world is a Sanatana Dharma is against dogmatism that we have to prove. So people think is dogmatic. That point we have to prove it, and in our gatherings I used to tell. So it is Sanatana Dharma.
So the criticism is that Sanatana Dharma is dogmatic. It is basically superstitious dogma and fixed beliefs, rigid beliefs, and so on.
So
okay.
We say that when sun is there, we are getting the sunlight, and when Jyotishka is there, we are exactly able to articulate when the Chandragrahana, Suryagrahana comes. So from where, which science, Vedic science tells. These are all before us, the facts before us. I used to counter with them, those who put forth these views.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That Dr. Sriram Darba says, let's not get stuck in semantics of Hindu and Sanatanas. Can you explain that to me, please? Practice before you preach and or to promote. Can you kindly explain so we can understand where?
See, hello, can you hear?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not addressed to you. It is general when I made a comment. The most of the time people seems to be getting confused between either using synonymously the Hinduism and Sanatana Dharma. That is one oft repeated confusion and a mistake. The other one is to say that the attack is not on Hinduism and it is on Sanatana Dharma. I would look at it a little more this thing. Okay, let's not get into the root cause, like what you said about dharma and all that, because it is very clear that acharya prabhavo dharma. So it is practice, dharma anusthana, practice, like some other person also said in the chat. I am very clear, and notwithstanding to whatever this guy Raju Malhotra may say sitting in US, but what is important is practicing before preaching and before promoting. So if everybody, like Savarkar said, now more than ever, he said it in 1920, and it is very relevant even today. More than ever, it is the time that Hindus have to convert to Hinduism, and they need to be practicing Hindus. That's what Savarkar said in 1920s, 30s, and today.
Yeah.
Okay, coming to today's politics, I think the focus should be why is it being so in vogue these days, not 10 years before, is because it is because of the political power based on this Hindu cause, the so-called BJP, the self-styled Messiah or the representative of the Hindus, which it may not be, which it is not, neither RSS nor BJP. Actually, that is their argument also, and hence it is more of a political ploy rather than actually hitting it. They cannot. We all know that even Aurangzeb and Ghajini Ghori could not do anything to Sanatana Dharma, who were this one Udaynidhi or one Corona Nidhi or anybody. These fellows cannot obviously do anything, which we all know. But the problem is within ourselves, and the focus, if it is focused on how we can be practicing Hindus, and then how we can get together and not making some loose comments about pravachana and anything. Each one has got its own importance in bringing people towards practicing the dharma rather than activism. Action more than activism.
Okay.
That is one word. Thank you.
I kind of agree with a few things, but I must say I disagree with a few things there, because number one, Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma can be practiced in any corner of the world if it is really if Sanatana Dharma is really universal, it is not restricted to practice in India alone. So, and there are different approaches, just as many streams as possible. It is possible for all of us to have different ways of practicing it, and different ways of addressing the issues as well. I think what needs to be seen is that we have been very happy in a spiritual kind of discourse and, generally speaking, academic kind of pursuit. It's almost like an academic pursuit of Sanatana Dharma, without much of being applying it from societal welfare. Sanatana Dharma has a societal welfare kind of component as well. We need to really look at all those aspects. Okay, P.V. Ramanagar, you want to say something very quickly then?
Attacks on Sanatana Dharma by others is one fact. Not following our own Sanatana Dharma by our own people, rather our own people are discouraging, or our own people are not encouraging. Is it not also a point for that? I mean, we are making our children for money makers, not Sanatana Dharma makers. No? We are asking them to go to IIT or to America, all these things, earn money like that. So many parents are doing like that. Is it not a cause for that? Similarly, there are several examples.
Absolutely. You are spot on. I'm so pleased to hear what you said. I actually believe that there are lots. One of the slides, one of the questions I have is usually, what is the single biggest threat to Sanatana Dharma? And the choices I give are TV and film industry, politics, religion, education. And actually, I believe education is the single biggest threat, because when education system had been secularized, the biggest losers have been Hindus. We are the ones who are actually having to compromise heavily on our core principle of education, or anything is based on the whole idea of Vidya, where unless I make an Atma Darshana, I actually don't understand life around me. Our Gurukula system has been based on that too. And when you secularize education, where self-awareness and self-introspective kind of approach to learning doesn't take place, and the parents don't educate kids around that, neither do schools, we are actually moving far, far away from Sanatana Dharma. Ram Joslalji, please make your comments before I proceed.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Actually, the point what was told is true. Like we ourselves, we don't go frequently to the temples, nor we take children along with us to the temples. That's one thing. The second thing, which I feel very much inconvenient to put also, is like when such comments come out in public, there is hardly anyone who is condemning it, except you see some of the BJP people, some of the RSS people. But I'm not sure why none of the Pitam or Pitadis, Patis also don't comment on that. We revere those Pitadipatis as our gurus, basically. And I'm surprised, like, except a couple of people in the north who have told, like, they will be awarding something, etc., etc. But I have not seen anyone of our well-acclaimed gurus commenting anything against that part. And everybody is silent on that. That's what is bothering more on. See, because if we don't protest,
absolutely, I agree.
if we don't
And
protest,
I think we just need to, I think we just need to call it a disgrace.
yes.
The problem is that we are not even using our voice to protest.
Exactly.
And the
We are
gurus,
not protesting.
or the Pitadipatis, gurus and Pitadipatis, fair enough, I can understand that they are, like, as per guna and karma, they are Brahmana, as in their orientation, and therefore don't want to kindly stay muted. Somebody is causing a little disturbance. Yeah, so I can understand that they have a different outlook and they need to maintain that sanctity, which is understandable. Now, this is where we have to understand the beauty of Varna Dharma. Every society is unique, and our society is unique in that we actually have division of labor. And those who are into Brahma Tattva and Brahma Jnana would be on the pursuit of it, and they become our teachers and so on. And then we have the Kshatriya, and then you have the Vaishya, then the Shudra. Now, I am very careful in saying this. I am a Shudra. I may be born Brahmana, but by what I do, by my occupation, I'm a Shudra. I'm actually paid salaries and I'm working for somebody. So only those who are actually in pursuit of Brahma Jnana are the Brahmana. But unfortunately, we don't have the Kshatriya. So the Kshatriya is completely eliminated altogether. It has already been eliminated. So it's not news when you say Sanatana Dharma has to be eradicated, because one significant section of protectors of Sanatana Dharma have been already eliminated. So right now, when there is an assault, if there isn't a Kshatriya, at least the Kshatra Guna has to be inculcated in everyone. If the Kshatriya is missing in action, at least the Kshatra Guna has to come in. So yes and no would be the answer for instance, the Pitadipatis, whether they should be responding or not. Maybe they should develop the Kshatra Guna too. Like, some in the olden days, we have had Acharyas turn against the evil committers, and then they have actually kind of done their part. Okay, I know that we have a lot more people interested in talking. So surely, okay, Satyanarayana Murthy ji, you want to say something? You want 2 minutes?
Namaste, sir.
Yeah, go ahead,
Am
please.
I audible?
Yes, but there is a resound. I think you need to check. You need to come off one of the devices. I think you must be on 2 devices there. Okay, you work on it. I will allow Surendra ji to talk. He says 1 minute as well. Surendra Tatipamula.
థ్యాంక్స్ సార్ ఫర్ గివింగ్ అన్ ఆపర్చునిటీ. ఇందాక సార్ మాట్లాడారు కదా, మన సనాతన ధర్మం మెయిన్ ఏంటంటే, నేను ఒక సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఇంజనీర్. ప్రతి ఒక్కరు ఏంటంటే ఏమో పిల్లల్ని పెద్ద స్కూల్లో వేసామా, తర్వాత హయ్యర్ స్టడీస్ కోసం వాళ్ళు బీటెక్ అయిపోవడంతో ఎంఎస్కి వెళ్ళిపోతున్నారు, అక్కడే సెటిల్ అయిపోతున్నారు. ఇక్కడ రూట్స్ అనేవి ఇప్పుడు చాలా మంది ఏజ్ 60+ ఉన్నారు. ఇక్కడ ఏంటంటే పేరెంట్స్ చేసే ఇప్పుడు నెక్స్ట్ తరం వచ్చేసి అందరూ అక్కడికే వెళ్ళిపోతున్నారు. యూఎస్కి ఎక్కడో సెటిల్ అయిపోతుంది, మళ్ళీ రావడం లేదు, ఇక్కడ ఆలోచన కూడా లేదు. ఇక్కడ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ సిస్టమ్ కూడా టోటల్లీ చేంజ్. మనకేంటంటే లేట్ నైట్స్ పడుకోవడము, పబ్బులు, సినిమాలు, మాల్స్, ఇదే వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. సిస్టమ్ అనేది టోటల్లీ చేంజ్ అయితే, ఇప్పుడు మీరు అన్నట్టుగానే ఒకప్పుడు మన సనాతన ధర్మం ఉంది, కానీ ఏంటంటే సిస్టమ్ టోటల్లీ చేంజ్ అయిపోయింది. మనము మీరు ఇందాక సార్ అన్నారు కదా, మనము పైసల కోసం, మన స్టేటస్ కోసం మనం పరిగెడుతున్నాం. పరిగెట్టడం వల్ల ఏమైతుందంటే మనం యాక్చువల్ రూట్స్ మర్చిపోతున్నాం. మన పిల్లలకు చెప్పాల్సింది ఏంటి అనేది అసలు మనం చెప్పలేకపోతున్నాం. ఏంటంటే వీఆర్ రన్నింగ్ స్టేటస్ కోసమే పరిగెడుతున్నాం. ఇక్కడ స్టేటస్ ఎప్పుడైతే పరిగెత్తలేము అనుకోండి, మనం మన రూట్స్ గురించి ఫాలో అవుతే డెఫినెట్ గా ఇక్కడ చాలా మంది యుఎస్ లో ఉంటారు, ఎక్కడే ఉంటారు, వాళ్ళు ఇది ఫాలో అవ్వట్లేదు. సరే, అక్కడ ఉన్న ఫాలో అయితే మంచిది. మనకి ఎక్కడంటే మన రూట్ ఇండియాలో కొన్ని చాలా వరకు పోతున్నది.
ఓకే, అండర్స్టూడ్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్. ఓకే, సత్యనారాయణ గారు, బ్యాక్ టు యూ ఇఫ్ యూ సార్టెడ్ యువర్ ఆడియో.
Namaste, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah.
I want to present 2 things. One thing is the attack was made on the Sanatana Dharma. It doesn't mean that the attack was not made on the Hinduism. 1 minute. And then it is the Hindus who are supposed to respond are not responding. And well said by one of our companions that the Pitadipatis were not responded properly. But the attackers, I mean to say that They are nothing but Christians are pseudo Christians who are attacking the Sanatana Dharma. This is the point I want to make, one thing. And the second harm being done to the Hindu society is from the media. And well said by you in the past also, it is from the educational system also. The attack was made on the Hinduism. The media and the society is dividing us. Suppose when they are enlisting the candidates for a political assembly seats or something, or some ministries is being allowed, ministers are being selected. They are saying that Muslims, Christians, etc. But they never say, they never represented as the Hindus. They say that these many Reddis, these many Kama, this caste, this SC, ST, BC, etc. Something. They never. The media is the main harm it is doing to the Hindu society. So media.
Very well said. Thank you. I think that's an important point. Imagine it this way: if only if our education system is sorted and it becomes dharmic in its outlook, it is from the same education system you get doctors, you get IAS officers, you get politicians, you get actors in film and TV industry, you have writers. Only from a dharmic educational platform will dharmic leaders come, dharmic actors come, dharmic doctors come, dharmic IAS officers come. If you have a dharmic kind of an educational platform, I'm not saying education is the dharmic, but the very point that we don't provide dharma, dharmic foundation, makes it automatically adharmic. If dharma is not the basis, then all these people who come into various fields, they have zero knowledge of what dharma is and its application in our societal welfare. And you get the products like this. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Let's move ahead with the presentation so that...
Sir, here one small thing. Shall I say, sir?
Okay, quickly then.
I'm Prakash, sir. Actually, sir, somebody said that our Petas buddies they are not responding. A couple of days before, I came to know that Srungeri Jagadguru Swami Shankaracharya, they actually, when he was approached by Karnataka CM Siddaramaiah Garu and then Rahul Gandhi, and they went there and talked to him, and after that they wanted to have his blessings. He simply rejected to bless them, because whatever the unjust is being done to Hindu temples and the Hindus, this one, he clearly said that he is not interested in blessing them. This is a kind of a response nowadays we are getting from the Peethadvatis also, because what is the harm being done to these Hindu temples and Hindu culture, it is being spotlighted, and actually they wanted to hide the fact, but somehow it came into light, and it is being circulated in social media also. So
Okay.
this is a very good point.
Understandable. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. This reminds me about something.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
That's okay. Let's move on, please.
Excuse me, sir.
Let me conclude this. Let me conclude with this, and then we'll move on. Okay. Ours is a democracy. And what does democracy mean? It is the people who elect the leaders and the government. If people have an agenda that this is to be implemented, and if that becomes a big voice expressed through a large kind of number of people, only then that gets included in the manifesto of a party, and only then would a government be feeling obliged to fulfill the wish of the people. If Hindus don't actually voice out what they want, if they keep quiet, I will not find fault with a political party or a politician for not addressing any issues. It is not their fault. If you want it, you get it done through your voice being heard, and the politicians will oblige. Similarly, if you want the leaders in the spiritual leaders to be doing something, we should ask them, in what way are you responding to the attacks on Sanatana Dharma? What is, even if you don't respond, what do you say we should be doing? What is it that you are doing for the Hindu society? We should be in a position to ask these questions. Unless we keep asking, unless we feel empowered, unless we feel enlightened, I will not expect anybody, just because they're sitting in a position of power, to respond out of their own goodwill. It won't happen like that. Okay. Can you stay muted, please? It's not that difficult to mute yourself. Okay, thank you. So let's see, why is Sanatana Dharma being attacked? Is there a genuine confusion and ignorance about what Sanatana Dharma is? Maybe that's the reason. Maybe they don't know what Sanatana Dharma is. Maybe they don't know what Hinduism is, and maybe they don't know what social systems tend to be like. Okay. Or are they choosing to stay ignorant? It's easy to stay ignorant because it's hard work to gain knowledge. Is it about political motives because of upcoming elections? Or do they really have a genuine concern about social inequalities in society? If there is a genuine concern, isn't it their responsibility to show what the ideal solution is or what alternatives there are, rather than keep on throwing stones at us? If they're really so concerned, shouldn't they be showing ideally those solutions? Or are they proxies for religious conversions? Perhaps there is continuing hatred towards Brahmanas, because this is what the bogey is, right? Brahmanas have oppressed for centuries, and they are the ones who are still responsible for you being oppressed. Is that the case now? Can they give examples of an orchestrated Brahmanical patriarchy which is oppressive and oppressing right now? Can they? Why are they using it? Are they proxies for communist agenda? Now, there is another reason why they're easily attacking, because there is no counter argument from Hindus, so it's easy to target. See, Brahmins, I would say, are battered and bruised psychologically. They are not responding because nobody wants to listen to them. If a Brahmana comes out as a spokesperson, it will be understood even among Hindus. They will talk like that because they have nothing to lose. They are the ones who have been oppressing all these years, so they'll talk all the nice sugar-coated stuff. In addition to that, how many Brahmanas are actually practicing Brahmajnanam? They're only practicing jati as an occupation, but not as per the guna karma vyavahara. Brahmajnana is out of the equation now. So we have a problem there too. We don't have counter arguments because there is no knowledge pool. There's no spokesperson. Then the divisions within Hindu society makes it so easy to attack each jati at a time whenever it is convenient for them. They can pick and choose which ones to attack. They can also pick and choose which ones to pitch against, make two of them fight against each other. The reason is, my jati is more important than my Sanatana Dharma is the thinking among majority Hindus. It is my jati. If they throw stones at my jati, I will be responding. If they throw stones at Sanatana Dharma, they will keep quiet. This is the status of Hindu society right now. And we already looked at this issue. No unifying gurus leading the society. They're too busy with their own ashramas. They're very busy with their ashramas. And I will include new age spiritual ashramas too. New age spiritual ashramas as well as the traditional ones. None of them are responding. None of them are voicing out. And as I said already, there is no Kshatriya left in this Hindu society. And there are fault lines that Hindus are usually attacked for, and there is an ulterior motive. So they will say the fair-skinned Aryans are oppressing the dark-skinned Dravidians. Okay, that sentiment will go on forever. Because can you change these kind of notions that they hold? They want to hold on to them as long as there is mileage coming out of it. Then the other one is Brahmanism, as I said earlier. Sanskritization. Very funnily, the editor of newspaper Hindu had previously been talking about how Sanskritization is the reason why native cultures are not represented and so on. Now, these guys have the audacity to use terms when and how they wish. And ours have been the most inclusive in allowing, if you see the movie Kantara, or if you actually go into the details of native cultures, you see how well we have protected them. Now that there are religious conversions, they are getting erased. The tribal cultures are getting erased. Because they are all considered as false gods. And we never considered anyone as false god. We included everyone as a god. And exclusion of Dalit sections. Now, we can talk about this. Sanatana Dharma is for the free spirit. Full stop. Societal structures come much later. So if anybody even talks about exclusion of Dalits, it is basically out of ignorance. Of course, we are also kind of attacked on the fault line of too many gods, because it is very conveniently, the narrative has been built across the world that there is only one God. Therefore, automatically, too many gods is a kind of a superstition. Now, is heterogeneity a blessing for us or a curse? For us, it's a blessing on the lines of plurality and freedom to choose and practice. It is because, and then it makes it compatible with science and democracy. So therefore, we should be proud. We should be proud that ours gives us the freedom to choose and practice in the plurality. But it is a curse when it comes to unity. Because we have very many streams. And obviously, naturally, that freedom to choose makes it not homogeneous. So we need to live with it. We can't just say that I want homogeneity. It can't happen because the very nature of Sanatana Dharma allows you heterogeneity. Accept it. It's a blessing. But accept that there is a limitation too. Okay. So I'll go ahead because I know time is restricted. Why is the response feeble? There are 10 reasons for feeble response from Hindus. Okay, somebody has unmuted. Kindly mute yourself again. Number 1, majority Hindus have poor understanding of basics of Sanatana Dharma. Misplaced priorities of education among Hindu parents and alienation of Hindus from Sanatana Dharma through modern adharmic education system. We spoke about it already. Number 2, we just practice mechanically. We have no love for the divine Parabrahman. I'll explain to you. I worship asking for a job, for a good marriage, for bless me with a child. Do I ever ask, how are you, oh God? Can I do anything for you? Or not even just unconditional. Love makes you defend something. When you truly love something, only then you actually defend it. You fight for it. Don't you see it in movies? నేను ప్రాణాలైనా ఇచ్చేస్తాను. ప్రాణాలు ఎప్పుడు ఇస్తారు? When do you give your life? Only when you love something. ఇక్కడ we don't need to give prana here. We need to only open our mouth. If only I love the divine. But my interaction is mechanical. It is transactional. So it's transactional nature of the Hindu. Pass my exam, please. Get me married. Get me a job. As long as things are going well, God is good. As long as they're not going well, this God is useless. I'll move to some other religion. Lack of trust between various jatis due to unaddressed healing of the wounds. Have we actually taken any pains to understand what troubles certain jatis have gone through historically? Have we actually made any attempts to arrange counseling sessions? Have we actually looked at hearing, I'm there to listen to you. Please pour out your concerns, pour out what you have gone through, the shame, the embarrassment, whatever you have experienced, tell us. Have we done that? We have not done that. We have just allowed it to simmer and simmer and simmer. It is still simmering. As long as there are unhealed wounds, do not expect healing to happen. Do not expect everyone to come on to the same page. And there will be therefore all the mistrust that they oppressed me, they are the upper ones will say they are lowly people. Some another jati will be said as they are stingy people, and others will be said as they are cunning. These are the remarks I've been hearing from my childhood even till now in private quarters. This is the level of trust between jatis we have. Rewarded to remain in caste with political benefits. Of course, as long as reservations are based on caste, if they are based on economics and caste is removed out of the equation, perhaps things would have been different. But we have it now. We have to carry on with it until some fine day when we all realize together that it's time to give up and move on to at least economic-based reservations. Political motive will be that they will not allow the wounds to be healed. Politicians will not allow them to be healed because that is their vote bank. If they're so concerned about jati welfare, I would suggest that the traditional occupation should be brought back so that there is respect and dignity within all the jatis. I've seen recently, I went to a village where the final Cheneta Karmika, he's the final. After him, once he's dead, he's 80 years of age. There's nobody to do it anymore. So can governments not provide incentives according to the jati-based occupation instead of jati-based reservation? They could actually give jati-based occupation. They can give subsidies, interest-free loans. They can actually kind of train them again. They can bring them together through welfare schemes. I don't understand why that doesn't happen. If that happens, our societal structure actually becomes a lot more stronger. We will be actually having better dignity. Who is going to voice these things? We have to. 6, fear, apathy, and shyness. In Telugu, I say 3 bars. Bayam, Baddakam, Bidiyam. Why should you be afraid? न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्य शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. I am Shashvata Atman, even in a body which, even if it resides in a body which perishes, I still don't perish. I still live. Why fear? Then too much of Tamasika Guna under the guise of Sattvika Guna. That is not good. We need to move into at least some Rajasika Guna to be active. And false humility, just because I want to stay in a comfort zone. Like for instance, I sit in my AC compartment, AC cubicle. I'm so comfortable in it. Why do I want to make my life miserable by getting out of it and sweating outside? This is the comfort zone we need to get out of. Lack of kshatram, we already spoke about it. Shauryam tejo dhritirdakshyam yuddhe chapya palayanam. Apalayanam. Kshatriya is one who does not run away. We are running away. We are running away when we are being asked questions. We are not showing up. We are not coming up with answers. Apalayanam. The palayanam is what we are doing. We need to be doing apalayanam. We should not run away. That is the guna of kshatra. And how long will Brahmanas be targeted for social problems? We have no courage to question 70 years of political failures. All the societal problems that we still have are still there because of 70 years of apathy, of political apathy. Brahmanas are not guiding anymore as they are battered and bruised psychologically, and they have become scapegoats for all problems, all forms of social problems. Now, Vaishyas have always been noble donors, and they were in forefront of seeking spiritual growth as well. This is time immemorial. Even Puranic, there are stories. Our society has also become financially weak over the centuries. Financial stability leads to better social norms in general. We need to revive the traditional jati-based Hindu economy. Jatis of Shudra Varna have not been empowered to lead Hindu community. Sudras have not been empowered, unfortunately. Even till date, possibly one of the reasons why there is very poor response is because they are still looking up to somebody else who is supposedly knowledgeable to answer. And as I already said earlier, Brahmanas are there based on jati right now, but Brahmajnana is limited. It's gone down a lot. Just as much as we lost Kshatriyas, we have also lost a lot of Brahma Jnanam in Brahmana. But Shudra Varna represents the majority. Anywhere in the world, working class will be the majority of a society. And we need to, we as Shudras, we need to feel empowered. Feel empowered to be spokespersons of Sanatana Dharma. Modern Hindu society needs Shudras to lead, as they have made significant social and political progress and they form majority of the society. Okay, and I'll conclude later, but I can just stop for a moment if need be. Maybe I'll just take a pause just to see if anybody has to say anything.
So we can say that we got the independence only 2014, in the year 2014, frankly speaking. So that Hindus got awakened, Hindu are becoming maybe vocal or forthwith their views, opinions, and say, I am Hindu, I am Sanatani. Like that, it is coming nowadays. Previously, they are scared to utter that word also, to say I am Hindu. So that maybe political environment or awakening already that is sleeping inside that has come out. So things are changing for the last 10 years. That much we can say that.
Okay, understand. Ratnam Vadlamodi says, I know of Vaishnava GR who wants to get converted and take easy money due to his poverty, unable to meet his medical and life minimal requirements. Yes, this is a problem. Each and every individual needs to be taken care of. So how do we stop him getting converted? I can tell you this much. Once
No,
somebody gets converted,
excuse me, sir.
just a minute, please. Just a minute, please. Once a person gets converted, it is difficult to get them back again. It is better to act before they are converted. Yes, you can say now.
Yes, if the government is coming out with some benefits, old age benefits, like pension scheme, like that is given to the fourth class people and all that. If Brahmana old age people are also given some pension and medical allowances and insurance or something like that, they can sustain their living. They will not try to go for such type of conversions. They are unable to meet their own regular requirements of food and shelter and medicines. So that
Okay,
is why this is a threat.
Understand. Let me stop you there if you don't mind.
Yeah.
If they are able to convert, there is somebody there ready to convert, right? Which means
Yeah.
there's somebody there who is actually giving a helping hand.
Yeah, they are.
Where is the
coming out
helping
with-
hand? Where is the helping hand in the Hindu society?
The government should come forward with such type of things.
The government can come. My question is, from a religious point of view, this person is getting ready to get converted, which means there's somebody helping that person financially, medically, compassion. My question is, who in the Hindu society is actually giving that helping hand? Maybe if he gives the helping hand through compassion, through a job, medical support. For instance, only yesterday, we have identified 3 people and we have made donations to 3 people through our organization. The reason being, we understood that if we don't care for our own, we cannot expect them to stay within the fold. When their needs are so dire, they are within their rights to move whichever direction gives them stability in their life. My question, therefore, is we need to have a better response from Hindu society. We need to be more active in societal welfare.
Now, even the Pithadipatis or anything, they are not accepting more and more people under because they are not able to sustain their own expenses with more people. They cannot take more people under them. So the problem is old age. As long as people are able to do some work, yes, they can be taken into any of these religious organizations, and there needs to be. This man also was being fed, as long as he was young.
I think we're missing the point still. Kindly understand, it has to be a human to human connect, emotional connect. Please understand, this is not about policies. When a person makes a choice to move into another religion, there is a human to human connect, there is an emotional support. That is what makes the difference at the end of the day. Okay, so we need to respond with emotions. I think we need to start getting out of our comfort zone, get onto the streets, go look for people who are vulnerable and help them. We need to start doing that.
Yeah. Okay. In the market, there are some easy schemes that are coming.
Yeah. That's fine. Thank you. Let's move on to somebody else. Anybody else wants to have? Can I speak? Yeah, Vani, please.
Yeah.
Vani's iPhone. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. This is my first session that I have attended this seminar completely, and I felt so happy being part of this. I work as a lecturer in Hyderabad in a law college, principal rather. So what I have some action plans, sir. I think old age and all, it's a problem where, immediately perhaps we may not be able to sustain or financially we'll be able to do something for them because the conversion money that comes from outside is so huge. and the temptations are so huge. When a person for simple benefits like medical wants to convert, how strong is he in his religion, sir? Can't he go to a government hospital? Can't he go and stay somewhere, where he gets some support? Can't he search for that, sir? Why should he wait for somebody to come and help him? But that besides, I have one small solution. We can print some pamphlets, go to junior colleges, engineering colleges, because they are the breeding grounds of conversions, later stage. We can distribute, talking about some simple, the presentation had some 10 points that can be made into a pamphlet distributed among the students. It doesn't cost anything. And if possible, on a Saturday, working professionals can visit colleges and just distribute them, make students read. Maybe a first instance they may throw it, but second time they will read it. Because I have been practicing it. I'm an unapologetic Hindu. In my class, I teach law. I have to teach very unbiased law, but I am very unapologetic Hindu, and I call a spade a spade. So perhaps we have to start changing ourselves instead of commenting on others or trying to negate others' viewpoint, because conversations do happen, differences do happen, but we have to come out of this and do some action oriented thing. Thank you.
Very well put. Thank you so much. I think this is the need of the hour. First of all, we need to be courageous. We need to learn to articulate. We need to learn debating skills. And this can only happen when we have at least the basic foundational knowledge of Sanatana Dharma. That Sanatana Dharma is for human welfare. Sanatana Dharma is for world welfare. And we need to mean it. We need to imbibe it. And if we can do that, that person is converting because he has no basic foundational knowledge of Sanatana Dharma. But at the same time, when a human is in dire need, we need to look at what are those things we can do to help each vulnerable individual as much as we can. One may also say this: I know for sure that a watchman who may get about no more than 5,000 rupees salary will pay his 10% monthly Dashama Bhagam to his pastor. 500 rupees out of 5,000 is a lot of money. How many of us are actually giving money for dharmic activities consistently? If not 10%, at least 5%. If not 5%, at least 3%. How are we even going to sustain a Hindu society from an economical point of view? Again, I remind myself, we need to find our inherent strengths. We need to find what are those inherent strengths which worked well for our society all these years, all these centuries. We can shed away what is not good, but we need to be able to bring back what works for us and implement those, again, unapologetically. Okay, so let's move on. I'll move on to the next phase of my final phase of my discussion today. Sorry if it was too long a presentation. So I have 7 solutions for a competent and consistent response from Hindus in Sanatana Dharma Rakshana. Number 1 is educate all about the basics of Sanatana Dharma. As I said earlier, there is too much emphasis on academic pursuit. A lot of people, I teach Sankhya Darshana, I teach Bhagavad Gita, and I also conduct satsangs for day-to-day societal matters. There are people who come for that too, and there are people who learn Sanskrit, by the way. There is more curiosity to learn these things than to discuss practical matters. Both need to happen, fair enough, but at the end of the day, the need of the hour is what we need to look at right now. So too much emphasis on academic pursuit with minimal contribution to the real society around. So we need to teach basics of Sanatana Dharma. The first speaker who mentioned the Samabhavana, Samadrishti, he is practicing it. And there are certain people who are actually practicing without even knowing the word Sanatana Dharma. They are practicing it. Inculcate values of Kshatram, have the courage to say the right thing, stand by Dharma, voice against Adharma, become a leader, enter into politics. If politics is a dirty place, that is because it is Adharma. Make it dharmic by entering into politics. Now you may say that, oh, if I enter, I will also become adharmic. If you are already kind of dharmic in your outlook, and if you can stick to it, you will purify the place. Have the courage to debate. Have the courage to teach. Do I know much about Sanatana Dharma or Hinduism? I hardly read much books. I have not read Puranas. I have not read Itihasas. I'm just barely starting to read them. I have not even touched Vedas. I have not even touched Upanishads. My Sanatana Dharma learning was common sense. And after that, thanks to my Sanskrit background, I've learned and understood Bhagavad Gita. Am I not teaching? I teach what I know. I don't teach what I don't know. Propagating Dharma. Have the courage to propagate Dharma. Appreciate that historically all Varnas, particularly Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, have played a significant role to develop a functional society. Yes, Brahmanas and Kshatriyas have for a very, very long time played a role of making sure that the structure works efficiently. Now, not any system that you take is not going to be perfect. They will have flaws. When the flaws increase in number, they supersede the benefits. We need to let go of systems, any system in the world. So this was a system. They have played a great role in developing a functional society in which all Varnas work together to lead the normal lives, but also to build a robust society. We need to teach the right history. We can't keep on teaching biased history of only the negatives. Appreciate that no system is perfect. Shreyan swadharma viganaha paradharma svanishtitat. See, our swadharma may have its flaws and the paradharma may look extremely efficient. Even then, stick to your swadharma and make amends, make efforts to kind of make it a better dharma. So appreciate that no system is perfect. Inbuilt counseling process should be present for all to obtain healing. I already mentioned that. We need to inculcate it. We have no excuse, I'm sorry to say. We cannot sit in an excuse that, oh, everything is better now, there are no problems. No, there are problems. There is still kind of vivaksha. Accept it. Accept it, own it as your problem, address it. We are all part of the family. We need to sit together and resolve our problems. It is only possible when I listen, when I am compassionate, and when I'm also given the opportunity to speak my mind. Let's do that. All need to feel cared for. Even today, all Varnas have a responsibility to lead a dharmic life and serve community. We need to revisit the idea of temple as an adhyatmika, samskritika and a samajika kendram. If you go to villages, Ramalayas were always kind of a place where all these would happen. Nowadays, not much is happening. So we need to revive the whole idea of temple. Please adopt at your nearest temple. Don't go to these big temples. I mean, you can go. or let me rephrase it, you don't need to only go to big temples. Pick up a small temple, which is a beautiful, serene, spiritually charged temple nearby in your locality. Adopt it, make it a center, work with the management there. If it is a private temple, much the better. If it is an endowment temple, well, you may need to kind of discuss with them. Make it into this Adhyatmika, Samskritika and Samajika Kendra. Samajika Kendra would mean that should be the place where social welfare matters are discussed. We need to find role models and we need to highlight them sufficiently to inspire all. We still rely on people like Mother Teresa to show as a brand ambassador of love. Telugu people ourselves are unable to put up a picture of Dokka Setama in our houses. What's wrong with us? We need to identify role models, our role models, who are dharmic. So look around. Let us look around. Let us identify those role models from all varnas. Interview them if they are still around. Please interview them and publicize them. Youth should be taught about the practical utility and logical application of Sanatana Dharma, because the youth in this modern world are logical in their outlook. They are not interested in, I did so, so do you. No. They will question, do you have the answers? If you don't have the answers, you need to start learning. They think logically, they want logical answers. Sanatana Dharma is practically applicable. Show them that it has practical utility in daily lives. And finally, I'll say this. If really Sanatana Dharma is truly eternal, if it is really eternal, then it should be relevant in all times, whether it is past, present, future. Next week, I'm actually in the panel discussion of artificial intelligence. And I'm actually thinking that if Sanatana Dharma is truly eternal, no matter what technical advances happen, it would still be relevant. It should be relevant in all times, all geographical locations. We have this thing that Sanatana Dharma equates India. No, Sanatana Dharma can be practiced anywhere in the world by everyone in the world. In fact, for a very long time, even I was under the impression that when you as an Indian go out to other countries and settle down there, perhaps you are leaving a lot, including your dharma. Now I've understood that if it is universally applicable, it doesn't matter where you are. Make it your home. Wherever you are, make it your home. Practice it, because Sanatana Dharma can be felt everywhere. It is there in the air. You don't need to be sitting in only one place. And it is relevant in all cultural settings. So therefore, teach Sanatana Dharma to every person across the globe. Use modern teaching methods. Make it relevant to modern world while not losing the essence of its everlasting wisdom. And remember, you will be a better Hindu only when you practice Sanatana Dharma. Thank you so much for patiently listening to all that I had to say. I'm sure there were certain things which perhaps people have disagreed with or had different opinions. But as I said, it's important I voice out my opinion at least and express my thoughts. Thank you so much for inviting me again for this wonderful occasion. Namaste.
ధన్యవాదములండి శ్రీనివాస్ శాస్త్రి గారు. Now, if anybody wants to interact with him any further, anybody, all open. Yeah.
Can I say something?
FJ Pant. बोलिए.
Sir, I am Ravindra Bindru. Can I say something?
Yeah.
Are you hearing
Yeah,
me?
please go ahead.
Sir, when you say about basics of Sanatana Dharma, as you in your initial wordings of your class, you said you defined Sanatana Dharma. When you say basics of Sanatana Dharma, are you clear in our minds what are the basics of Sanatana Dharma? What need to
Yeah.
be done basically as a simple layman, without going to deep scriptures and Puranas and Itihasas and all, what would be the basics, which is a minimum requirement for being a Sanatani?
Very simple.
Because,
Very simple.
but when
You don't need, yeah, I can stop you there if you don't mind. You don't need to read any scripture to be understanding Sanatana Dharma.
Fine.
All you need to know is you are the Atman, and there is the pervasive Paramatma.
Yes.
You are here as part of Karma Siddhanta and Punarjanma.
Fine.
Moksha is your goal.
Fine.
And how do you reach it? You follow the path of Dharma. World has complex kind of dimensions. Dharma allows you to go through those kind of complex dimensions. And you can use one of the paths of yoga, and it could be Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga meaning you are trying to understand who you are, that you are the Atman, and you stay in that. And so that's exactly what it is.
So great. Now,
kind of the basics
just
of Sanatana Dharma.
can I say, sir, it's great. You said it in when you started your lecture, you defined Sanatana Dharma as it is. So can all the sampradayas offer Sanatana Dharma, have a preamble of Sanatana Dharma of whatever you said, so that we have a common basic principle all through our sampradayas, so that we are bound by a single basic thread, so that we don't need to, we may be following any, I may be following any, I may be a Vaishnava, I may be Sakt, I may be following Shaivism, I may be following anything. But basically, these minimum requirements are there. So that makes me a Sanatani. Because we are divided, as you said, it's a curse.
So it is actually, yeah. So I would believe that all sampradayas have this basic foundational knowledge intact. All of them do have. It's just that it may not have been written as a preamble, but you are right. From a unification point of view, you are very right in saying that perhaps there should be that preamble.
Yes.
A common meeting point. So that let us say there is an annual conference of various sampradayas coming together.
Yes.
And they are coming together on this preamble.
Yes. The problem with us is, sir, Seva, I have seen lectures of many people. A Seva would, somehow, not talk good about a Vaishnavite. A Vaishnavite may not talk good about a Shiva is good and Krishna is good and Vaishnava is good. So confusions are there. Instead of having all these confusions, let us stick to our basic principle. Let us stick to one thing. I am an Atman and I have to meet my Paramatma. That's it. That's my Sanatana Dharma. So I follow it. I am a Sanatani. It may be a Shudra, it may be a Kshatriya, I may belong to any Varna, but I am a Varna is because just of this Janma. Otherwise, I am not. I am just an Atman. I am pure Atman. So if all sampradayas at some point of time come to this basic clarity, so maybe things can be much more easy to go about.
It is easy. Actually, you're right. It is easy. We make it complicated.
Yes.
It's not that difficult. Frankly speaking, Sanatana Dharma to understand is not that difficult. And to practice it is also not difficult. The only thing is that we don't have the patience to practice it. For instance, I keep saying that we need to pick up one at a time. For instance, somebody said they practice Samavana, Samadrishti.
Yes.
So we follow the principle of understand, practice, and declare. Understand the concept of Samadrishti, for instance, that you Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvanchamai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachamena pranashyati. There is the Atman in everything, and it's the same Atman. And that becomes the basis for me to practice love, universal love.
Yes.
That I love everything the same as I love myself. and then I implement it, I practice it, and
Yes.
I'm then seeing my results. How is it working for me? And if
Very
it's
right.
working for me, if it suits my style, then I carry on and I declare it as well. I declare my findings. It's like a scientific approach.
Very
If
right.
it doesn't suit me, then I go for another principle. I can go for
Yes.
Nishkama Karma.
Yes.
I go for Nishkama Karma and I practice Nishkama Karma.
I
And I look
start
at,
from a basics. I start from a point, and then I diversify along the way. I move from one sampradaya to the other sampradaya, but I start from a basic point. That's my what my idea is. I start from a basic thing, and then I, as per my taste, as per my outlook, as per my easiness, I find one particular path. It's good. I follow that. One more thing, sir, that we have so many temples around in our country. Are we connected? I have heard, I'm not sure, but a particular religion in our country, a person comes from Bangladesh, he comes from Burma, he comes from any country. When he enters India, a Rohingya, he's connected to a particular small masjid. From there, he goes to a big masjid. Then he gets a voter card. He gets every facility, and he gets settled over in India. All these places, their places, are so much connected that they give a call for a march out, and at 1 o'clock, all people from all the masjids come out on the road. Why not have this kind of connectivity with our temples? Why are
okay.
not we connected, sir?
So we need to look at answers. So we may not have
Yes.
answers. We need to
Yes.
look at answers. One of the
Yes.
things is our Varna system, or sorry, our Jati system had been filling that gap. And that is why we still have those kind of caste associations, because that has become the unit for people to fall back upon for social needs. But my only concern is that the Jati system is now obsolete because we are not following
Yes.
the Jati-led traditional occupations.
Very right.
So if we want to make it relevant, we need to revive the Jati traditions, the occupations, and make them more meaningful. Otherwise, it's pointless just holding on to them when you don't practice it. So we have
Yes.
problems
And
there. We have problems. We need to look at it. How do we overcome that?
the connect has to be there, sir. The connect has to be there. That's what I
And the
want to
other
say.
thing is make the temples that
Yes.
the social meeting points as well.
Whatever you
Okay.
said, that was perfectly all right, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Thanks
listening to
for
me, sir.
that.
Thank you.
Satyanarayan ji and Vijay Pant, you raised your hands. Would you like to say something?
Namaste, Sastry garu. Actually, there are so many problems within the Hindu society. Actually, we have been donating to the temples very magnanimously, but the funds are being utilized for the non-Hindu activities. Suppose, and if in Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam or some Srisailam or something, they are contributing to the CWS, the Common Welfare Fund. It is going the funds. It must be opposed. And none of our leaders means Hindu leaders. I am saying no political things. The Mathadhipatis, Pitapatis should oppose it. Our money is meant only for Hindus and Hindu welfare, and for the uplifting of or repairing of Hindu old temples, etc. It must be opposed. In Tamil Nadu, what is happening, sir? As you know, you are very well. You know the problem. The ornaments in the Hindu temples are being set for auction.
Okay.
As you are aware, it is very wrong thing, and nobody is supporting in Tamil Nadu. And the thing is, and in the TTD also, so many crores of rupees are going out of the Tirumala hundis, out of Tirumala hundis. Where they are going, nobody knows it, and no accountability, and no such things are there. It must be controlled. So my suggestion, I wrote in the box also, not to put anything in the hundis. In the big temples, I mean to say, in the small temples, you can always help. In the big temples, you must avoid putting things in the hundis.
All right. Okay. Thanks for thank you for the point. I think we'll stick to the topic as well. Thank you for making it. Vijay Pant, would you like to say anything?
Yes, please. Yeah, hello. Yes. And namaskar to everybody. It was a very, very enlightening talk that you gave. We as Hindus all over the world, we know what is happening. But as you rightly said, we have become so bhiru, we are so afraid to speak the truth that we keep quiet. For me as a woman, I feel, I have a parentage of the north as well as the south, and I lived in the center of the country. So for me, I feel that a mother has a great role to play. Women actually should take on the first guru's role and educate the child from childhood to what is dharma, what is discrimination, what is correct and what is wrong. And as you rightly pointed out, Sanatana Dharma is nothing but right action, to know what is correct from what is wrong. So if we know that, then we can later on educate ourselves, read our texts, our Shastras, and the Bhagavad Gita, of course. The Bhagavad Gita is the greatest message for world humanity. But though Krishna Bhagavan gave it in Bharat, the Hindu today does not know what it means. He thinks it is only ahimsa that he has to follow, and he cannot even negate somebody with the truth, that he is saying something wrong. This is where I find it very, very depressing, that we have lost the power of speech, of correct speech, of truth and integrity, and we just tolerate everything. So rightly, as you said, we have to think about what is happening. And like Mrs. Mahodaya Vani said, she is a principal. She has a wonderful idea. So let us all join hands and promote this new wave of rebirth of Sanatana Dharma and right action. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yes, you're very right. Vaniji's initiative needs to be encouraged. And I think there should be an immediate plan, at least within Hyderabad, to look at what she wishes to offer, and maybe others can also help out.
And one more point, I would suggest that
I'll be happy to continue discussions with Vaniji as well if she wishes to.
Yes, and it would be wonderful. And another thing is, we should also promote our Matribhashas first. Matribhasha with Sanskritam, because Sanskriti comes from our Matribhasha. We cannot go after foreign languages. I love languages. I love all languages, but first comes my Matribhasha.
So I actually said four language formula. I call it Matribhasha Telugu is my Matribhasha.
Yes.
I call Sanskrit my Pitrabhasha.
Correct.
Then I call Hindi as Desa Bhasha.
Yes.
And I call English as a Vyavaharika Bhasha.
Correct. For me, Tamil is my Matribhasha, because my mother came from the south, and the rest I know. And I also know, being here, we know certain other languages. But what you say is very true. And we must know the language well, so that we are able to communicate and put our ideas properly. Today we have become Trishanku. We neither know our Matribhashas, neither do we know Hindi, neither do we know English. We do pa. That is, we don't know anything.
Thank you. In the interest of time, I'll leave it to the host.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Whether to conclude the session or whatever.
Dhanyavada and namaskara to everyone.
Sir, one small interjection. I am very glad that my idea was taken seriously. I have been doing it in my own way individually, but if I have some support behind, definitely we can plan it out. As I said, simple techniques. We have to catch our Hindu children young, so that they should not become potential targets later. Perhaps for old age, we can think of some other plans, but for young children, encourage them to put bottu, traditional dress, celebrate festival, speak in Matrubhasha. These are some of the simple techniques we can tell our children, and then form a society where if children are discriminated against these things, we should be there to take it up. Definitely,
we have
to be ready to take it.
It's a very interesting discussion. Sastry Garu, we have a commonality between us. I fully agree with you, what are all points you have brought out. And with these opinions only, we also started this Veda Samskruta Samiti. And we realized that the education, making the intellectual Kshatriyas and intellectual gurus is very important requirement to revive the society. So with that intention only we are working, and with our possible whatever
possible capacities we have. In that process, we can work together. I need more interaction with you and more association with you. We'll work together on this issue, and let us add some more associations who are all coming that. Let's make a, and this is what our goal also. Last from 2016 onwards, we are trying to combine Sanatana Dharmic institutions to go together and work. And we conducted seminar in 2016, 17, unifying about 13, 14 institutions in Hyderabad in 2016, 26 institutions, unifying 26 institutions in 2017. We conducted seminars. And afterwards, we started working on this website and other things. And recently, we have published a book on Sanatana Dharma, Pradhama Samputi, and which is useful for the primary section students to teach them. And we are trying to distribute them free in all the schools and requesting the teachers to teach at least one sloka and one principle of Sanatana Dharma to the students every week. So like that, and those books are still available. People are interested to they can take, they can distribute it. And the main thing is there are very real madhanam is being done by you, and real research has been done on the situation of the country, situation of the Sanatana Dharma and its situation of our country. And as Rajiv Malhotra, we are also inspired by Rajiv Malhotra only. And as Rajiv Malhotra has pointed out, somebody was telling that he's staying in US and doing that. That comment I don't appreciate it. In fact, he didn't stay in US. He was working the actual problems in India, what is happening, and he started with the work of breaking India, which is the real problem of Indian situation. So that point we should understand. And Rajiv Malhotra has done an immense work, and he has opened most of our Sanatana Dharmic institutions' ideas, people's eyes. He has opened those eyes, and we are all working for that purpose. And we are still in the nascent stage only, and still not. And your work is excellent work. Very real madhanam has been done by you. Research work has been done by you, and this has to be propagated to all the dharmic institutions, and they should propagate it. And one thing I would like to at the outset, I should say is, there is in Sanatana Dharma, there itself is a positive and negative. Dharma and adharma is existing right from the beginning of this Sastry. It is the creation of the God. Dharma and adharma is the creation of the God. Dharma is also He, and adharma is also He only. Both are He only. And it is the present situations, yuga to yuga, changing and happening, and revolution is coming and coming back again to the normalcy. That's what's happening. And it happens. And it may be the Dasavataras may be a real example of the common example to the people to understand the real system of Sanatana Dharma, how it revives it. Every Sanatana, every Avatara, it gives an indication that a force is there which is spoiling the society. A force is there which is coming back again and reviving it and bringing it back to the normalcy. So with this system of this thing, and the Sanatana Dharma itself has got that intentional potentiality to revive it at a particular phase. That particular phase comes, yada yada dharmasya glanir bhavati bhavarata. That slokam says that phase has to come, phase has to come right from the people and right from the God, both. When people are not able to do it, then God will come into the picture. So it is our fundamental primary duty of the society, of the people who are dharmic thinking people, to come forward, become intellectual gurus, intellectual kshatriyas, and come forward and educate the society and lead the situations. And that's what the message we should go. And when we are not able to do it, when the adharma is going over and above us, then automatically that supernatural power like Narendra Modi will come and do the things. And really the real independence has come to us only after thousands of years, 1,000 years, now only in 2014. From 2014 onwards, real work has been done on revival of Sanatana Dharma, and this has to continue for another few decades to make it back to the normalcy in democratic way. For that purpose, we all should work together and see the younger generations come forward and coming to the our shoes one by one, and then continue it further to make it a full glory of Sanatana Dharma. With these things, and now the another situation is, as long as Dasavatara says, that is only limited to Bharatavarsha and Bharatakanda. And whereas when it comes to the present situation of globalization, the whole world is involved in this situation. The whole world should realize the importance of Sanatana Dharma. Then only this can happen. Otherwise, some external forces will be always working with their mighty power of political and economic powers. They try to disturb the situation if they are overpowered with the adharmic activities. So, in this situation, the Sanatana Dharma principles are to be globalized, and people should realize, the people who are following the other than Sanatana Dharma activities, they should also realize the importance of Sanatana Dharma and see what are the flaws in their system of thinking and how they are doing damage to the society, a good fabric of the society. So, with this, a globalization of Sanatana Dharma is also required. May not be, and that is be happening. It's not that it's not happening. It is. I'm viewing last 10 years. It is improving and it is increasing day by day, and the Sanatana Dharma is being realized or recognized by the globally, but the time has to come to overpower the adharmic activities and bring back the glory of Sanatana Dharma back to the pavilion. With these few words, I thank you very much, and I am very much interested to work with you. Kindly guide us, and kindly join us, kindly give me frequent lectures in our webinars. This is the way we took every one of us to take one section of the way of working. It has to be multifold. The work of reviving Sanatana Dharma is multifold. Everybody cannot follow this. There are so many points, so many solutions you have given. Every one association should take one solution, and we all work together. That's how this can be done. Everybody cannot do everything. Everybody cannot work on the road. Everybody cannot work on this thing. So some institutions will work from the one angle, other institutions will work in some other angle, some other actions will work from other angle. But we all should work together. So that let us do it. Please, we have taken a path of educating the generations, educating the motherhood, educating the parentals, educating the middle-aged people and younger generations. That's what the thing we have taught. We have taken as a tool to do it. That is the basic thing we thought. That's the root. The root is, there are two things we thought root. One is Sanskrit, another is educating the future generations. These are the two things we took it as a major tool. Other things are supporting tools. So you may have taken some other tool of interacting with conversions and making them not to helping them, and all this. Some other association must have done something else. We all work together and bring it back to the normalcy. So with these few words, while thanking all of the people who have associated us with us, mainly that Vani ji and Vijaya ji and other Surendra, etc., all those people, Sriram Dharma, and we all thank you very much for very much interaction and getting interest in these things, and slightly building up my confidence that slowly intellectual gurus and intellectual kshatriyas are being developed in the society, and it is a good sign. Thank you very much.